Hey, what's up, guys? This is TBone here. Welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. In today's episode, I wanted to talk about the event Seraph, Strife and the deck that I've previewed in my previous stream, where it was basically filling up the board with power gems. But what I didn't get to show you afterwards was if you threw in some other cards in there, it was basically making the board even crazier. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a video that I took. This was before the event. They've since fixed the event. We'll talk about the update a little bit, but I wanted to show you really what's happening here. So during my stream, I showcased the deck with Clandestine clans, but that was it. And we were getting a full board Power Gem Force, which I thought was really cool already because it was not getting crushed. But look at this. This is a GVG fight against Light Boss, and on turn 1, before doing anything, I was already getting Power Gem 20s on the board. Okay, and then so if you take a look here, I have 3 of the cards, 2 Master Collection cards, and 1 Ultimate Form in here. In this matchup, all I had to do was activate a single card, and I was basically getting a full board of practically Power Gem 20s over and over again every single turn. And I am using a light deck against a light defense, and I was just going through them like hot knife through butter. So why is this happening? That is what I wanted to address in this video, because they fixed this issue, and also so you don't see anymore. And so some of you may not have seen this before, but this was what's happening, and some people did call it out. So I wanted to explain what the fix was, why, and also why this is happening. But I also want to talk about like what is the state right now and what's happening. Okay, so you can see here it's just absolutely ridiculous. Like 5, I went through my team really easily because it had a 3-turn cooldown, so I was able to activate my battle skills every single turn and just go through all of the defense without any issues here. All right, so you can just see like this is something that you've never seen. Like we've never seen this before because of Gem Crush, right? Because when Gem Crush took place, when it was introduced, we didn't get a chance to have a full board of Power Gems, and here it is in all its glory with the Power Gem 20s all over the place, right? So what they said was that they fixed Cyber Samurai. They had to fix an issue with the Cyber Samurai Assault Heroes, which is the the cards like Clandestine Clans, which was triggering the the passive abilities a lot more times than expected. So that's what they said. If you take a look at the cards now, you'll notice that it is now not quite as powerful as what it was before, but there are still some issues, and I'm going to call them out in the video, and I'm also going to show you some of the other deck ideas I have come up with this particular deck, so you can also try them out if you would like. So here's the first team. I'm going to show you a few here. This is the same setup I had shown with a Guild versus Guild fight, and the relics I have here, really I'm just using the relics so that I could at least break up the the noble shields, and then after that I focus on trying to get as many light gems as I can. So I'm not really concerned about what kind of relics I'm putting here. I'm just trying to break the shields, and wherever I can, I'm also putting in any light spawning relics as I have them. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you the difference now. Okay, so the difference between this deck and the previous deck, or before this is post fix compared to before they implemented the fix. So the thing that they did change is, if you notice here on turn 1, I'm not getting a full board of Power Gem 20s, so that is one thing that's different, although I'm still getting a good board of 20 Power Gem 4s. The amount of damage there is okay, but after I activate all of my battle skills here, you'll see that I am still getting a lot of Power Gems, and at the end of this, though, what's happening is I'm still getting a full board of Power Gems. So this part isn't fixed, but what's different is it's not a board of Power Gem 20s anymore. However, the Gem Crush thing is still not really fixed, so it's still there. And with this, with this setup, I'm able to deal over 300 trillion with that, when I just activate everything. And so it's still viable. It's still usable, even though they've changed it. It's just that Cyber Samurai deck, like the cards, Clandestine Clans, for example, it still doesn't, it still doesn't cause the gems to crush, so you can still prevent it. And the reason for that, the reason why this is happening is because twofold. Number one, Clandestine Clan, what happens is when a gem crush happens, it will it will actually cause all noble killers to have its attack increased by 120%. And so this attack boost is then applied to Regel, Supreme Elohim, and also Regel again. And so it's applying it 3 times. And also, the presence of Intrepid Voyagers is really ultimately the reason why this is happening. So Intrepid Voyagers has this ability in a passive where whenever you have any power gem spawning skills used, it will increase attack. So now think about this. We have cards that will spawn gems when when power gem when attack boost is applied, and then another card that is creating power one card that is creating power gems when attack boost is happening. Then we have another card that is increasing attack whenever power gem skills are used. And so what's happening here is Intrepid Voyagers is taking every single passive ability that's applied here, and it's basically triggering attack boost for that. And when that happens, it then goes back and causes these cards' passive ability to go off again. And so it's still happening where you're still getting a good set of power gems there, although it's not staying quite like before. Like, we don't see the full board power gem 20s, but you can see, and I'll show you later, that it still can be you can still take advantage of it. It's just that you don't end up with that full board like before. However, because Clandestine Clans still doesn't cause the board to crush, this is what you end up with. And another setup that you can use if you don't have Clandestine Clans, you can also use cards like any card basically that spawns power gems will trigger their ability to create light power gems. And as long as you have Intrepid Voyagers or Iago, which is the Master Collection card, or you can have a Dragoon card in its place, I'll show you what I mean. Any of these 3 cards will allow you to actually do the same thing. So I'm going to show you a Dragoon here, and the Dragoon that you're looking for is Digital Diabolic. Now, I have this one not yet specialized, but if you were to specialize it to Chaotic so that it becomes the Master Collection, I'll show you what it's like. When you specialize, you have a choice. You can actually go into the Chaotic Killer. Now it becomes the same thing as Iago, which is the Master Collection card, and what it will do is it will have the same passive skill. So you can use this if you don't have Intrepid Voyagers and get the same effect. Okay, so there's 3 different options for you to do so. And so let's take a look at this. So now we have 2 cards that will and what's nice about these 2 is that you can spawn you can spawn light light gems while you're spawning the blue power gems. And so what I'll talk about here is, if you want to use this deck, the activation order goes from blue to light first. Okay, so when it's ambush, use the activate the blue cards first. After ambush, if you don't kill the boss right away, what you want to do is you want to activate the opposite direction. So without ambush, you want to activate light first and then the blue. The reason for that is because you don't really generate enough blue power gems once you've done with ambush, and so you're just going to end up overriding all of them, and you're going to just crush them all over the place, and you're not going to get the maximum benefit. So instead, what you do is you activate the lights first, then you go ahead and activate so that you can get gem crush, and you get a nice row of upgraded power gems. Then you activate the blues, and as they get upgraded, you'll still have some left behind, and you have more scattered power gems to do more damage. And so I could potentially showcase that if I can see some. I don't want to use these ones. I guess what I could do is I could do this because I don't want to get this interrupted. So as I'm showcasing the deck, I'm just going to go ahead and lock my boss, and I'll show you the activation and also amount of damage that you could do. So this way there's no interruptions. So we will use this same deck again. Okay. And once again, just use whatever relics you have to first make sure you can break the shields, and then focus on the light power gems. But if you're using this deck though, what's nice is the Lost Kingdom Guardians, because it has haste, it's applying a attack boost in the beginning. Okay, because it attacks it has an attack boost as its first turn as part of haste. It's triggering off the ability of Intrepid Voyagers, and because of that, you're always guaranteed to have enough gem matches at the beginning. Okay, and now that we have now that we've got our first attack, you can see we dealt about 3 quadrillion there, and so that's a good amount of damage there. But unfortunately, I don't have any blue gems here, so I need to actually do some matches here. Now, what I'm going to show you is the order you need to go is going to be the opposite. You want to activate the light first, then the blue. So this gives you two things. Number one, it gives you a nice sort of gem crushed board. Now, when you activate your blues, you can see that I'm still upgrading some while leaving some of the blue gems behind. I'm not going to get nearly as much damage here, but this is the most consistent way for you to be able to continue to get a little bit more damage. If you did the opposite direction, you're not going to get the amount of damage there. So remember, when it's ambushed, go from blue to light, and then if it's not ambushed, go from light to blue. All right. Now we're going to showcase the 13 while I'm here. If you have jailers, you wanted to try it, remember that anytime you activate abilities that spawn power gems, if you have Intrepid Voyagers, you're going to be able to you're going to be able to take advantage of this. We can also use the arcane light arcane killer card that is light. In my case, I don't have the most recent one, but I have Apocalypse Hellboy, and I could use this. It can be used. You just need to make sure that you bring in relics that can allow you to spawn earth gems, so that you can actually activate the battle skills. And in this case, I didn't actually use the enough relics that gives me the shield break. So you just want to make sure that you take advantage of that, or you make sure that you bring in enough relics to to break the shields. But in this case, I'm just showcasing what it's like. And so in this particular case, what you want to do is you want to activate the earth. You want to activate the non-light cards first, and you can sort of see where we're at right now. And then let's go ahead and activate everything. And so we have a nice board here. We do have some unfortunate gem crushers here, but let's go ahead and see how much damage we do end up with in this particular case. And so this is boosting the Apocalyptic Hellboy card, which is not that strong, but you can see it was still dealing about 500 trillion in this case. Now, if the gem crush was a little bit better, then it would have been it would have been a little bit more powerful. So that's basically sort of like what you can do. You can also experiment if you're finding that you're just not spawning enough of the off affinity colors to be really effective. Then you can also try the same idea of activating the. I can show you again. Like, you can also try activating the light first, and then the earth. Okay, and so we're gonna try this again now, doing it in the opposite order. So the goal for me here is to sort of showcasing these different decks and then showing you how you can actually use it. And so we're gonna go ahead and I guess I still need to match the light gems a little bit, but we'll be able to do that after this turn. And so my challenge, my personal challenge, is that I couldn't really match the gems enough, but because of Gem Crush, I don't have to worry about that. Now let's try activating the light first. Okay, so the idea is we would get some Gem Crush, we will have a nice board here, and then we're going to activate the earth ones so that we don't just have a full board of crushes here. And so we now have a little bit a better board. So let's see, maybe we'll do 20 and 15. Okay, and now let's see how much damage we can deal with our Hellboy card. And so 300. So this is where the random damage is coming into play. Like, you would imagine that would have done a little bit better, but it all does come down to some sort of luck there. There are some teams that are more consistent than others. The one thing that I will say right now is I do not have the Dark Noble killer card, which is Fierce Family. If you have it, you absolutely want to add it in and check it out, because you're going to have a very consistent damage output there. The other thing I wanted to showcase here is you can also take advantage of any cards that have persistent attack boost. So if you take a look here, Ring Royalty has haste, which increases attack at the beginning of the turn, but it also has a passive ability that increases attack at the beginning of every single turn. And there are a lot of cards that do this, and I'm going to show you what this is like. All right, and so there's a card, a very, very old card called Dragon Dancer. It's a fire commander card. it actually has the same ability, you could still do this. Again, this was just for showcasing. I didn't change the relics to be breaking the shields. But take a look here, okay? So every turn, you're going to see, because I'm going to increase the attack, I'm getting the power gem spawns every single turn from these 3 cards. Now imagine if I had put in Intrepid Voyagers in here. The number of power gems that I would have will significantly increase, okay? And so I'm not going to, I guess what I can do is I could try and see how much damage I can deal here. And in this case, I'm just gonna alternate the order a little bit, and let's see here. Now, keep in mind that I have 4 shields on here, so I'm not going to deal very much damage at all, because I have the damage has been severely dampened. But this is how you would play it. So let's go ahead and exit out here. But if you have a card that is persistent, consistently adding the attack boost every turn passively, and then you throw in Intrepid Voyagers in there, it's going to look very different. I'm going to show you right now, actually, because I think it's worth checking out. And so we're going to take a look at, this is the first time really that we've sort of encountered anything like this. All right, so this is the first deck that has introduced this mechanism. And so as a result, depending on your inventory, you can really mix this deck with a variety of different options, so that you could deal some good damage if you have the mix. Okay, and now take a look, right? So the difference now is, this is what first turn looks like now. Okay, so this is what it looks like first turn with this setup, and this is 1 key. I'm just hitting with 1 key here, and every single turn with this setup is going to be significantly better. And then if you wanted to activate other cards, so here it's hitting for just 5 trillion or so. Here's my revive, and I'm not going to be able to revive anymore, but you can see here, right? And so in my case, the shields actually help a little bit, right? The shield's actually causing the gems to not crush. And because it's not crushing, that is the reason why I'm getting these boards here. But remember, I'm also getting a severely reduced damage output total. And so let's see what the maximum damage could be like if I were to play this way. And let's go ahead and break a couple. And yeah, so let's see this board. So we have 4 shields, and this is 1 key, and I'm able to dish out about 250 trillion or so. So that is pretty sweet. So this is another option here. If you just don't use the shields, I guess that is also another option you can go with, so that you could basically cause all of the gems to build up without actually crushing them, right? So that's another strategy that you can also go with. And so now onto the other options here. We can even make something like this work, but I'm not going to showcase this because this is really just for fun, where I have 4 different affinities, but really it's a Haunted Hunters I wanted to showcase, okay? And so this one is not going to have the event, it's actually not going to have the event ultimate form. This one is going to use Nuriel. Nuriel is the event card, okay? So event card, I'm going to showcase this one here. So Nuriel is the event card, and it also has the passive ability, but it's just 1 card instead of multiple. But the same thing, like if you have everything else, but you didn't get lucky this event, you could still try it with Nuriel. You might not want to you don't have to use this kind of setup, but just taking advantage of the fact that you could try to spawn more power gems with all of your other spawners, and using Intrepid Voyagers or any of the other cards that are similar in, like the ones I've shown, those kind of, Iago or the Dragoon card, Diabolic, they will all help, okay? And so in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what it'll be like. So I'm going to go ahead and activate this. And when I activate Haunted Hunters, what it's doing is it's also applying the damage boost to all of your noble killers. And so you are still getting that, nice rebound of power gems. And so this is a single event card. I don't have any killer boost. Okay, keep in mind, this was without any killer boost, and I was able to get over 40 trillion. This is without any boost at all, right? So I think that from a damage perspective, this seems to be reasonable. And then finally, we have another deck here where, this one I feel also gives a pretty consistent damage. This is without using the Intrepid Voyagers, and but it is using a single card of using a single card of Lost Kingdom Guardians. Again, if you don't have this card, but you have, you have the Dragoon version of it, which is Kelpie, you can also use that. So activation is pretty easy. Just activate the blue first, and then activate the light cards. And what will happen here is, you can just go ahead and, try and do some. You can deal some good damage here. I think I was just using. I can't remember if I used 3 keys or not, but like. This deck, I try, like, depending on the way the crushes as well, you can also get some decent damage out of that. And so these are all different options. Oh, okay, I see what happened here. I changed this to Haunted Hunters, so I actually activated the wrong order, so that was my bad. Let's go ahead and use one more time. This deck should have been activated in a different order. I should not have activated with my blue first, and I'm going to tell you why. So when you have this setup, you actually want to always activate Haunted Hunters first, because it most likely will overwrite everything. And so let's do this one more time. And so we're going to go ahead and do our gem match. Then I'm going to activate Haunted Hunters first. Then I'm going to activate my Lost Kingdom Guardians, and then I'm going to activate the other two cards. And so this is going to look a little bit different. Okay, so you can see the power gems are a little bit better, and so hopefully this will deal a little bit better damage than what we saw earlier. It was so it's still not as good, but I promise you this has worked. It's just not as consistent there. But here's all the different options. All right, so these are sort of like, various different things. And I mentioned earlier, you can use a card like Dragon Dancer, which is a very, very old card. Okay, so if you don't have any of the cards, like, but you wanted to try, or let's say you don't have Ring Royalty, but you have you wanted to really try to emulate this particular setup that I just showed here, where you have everything. You have Intrepid Voyagers, but you don't have anything else. You don't have Ring Royalty. You wanted to do something like that. Well, you can. Like I said, you can go into. This is actually Generation 1, so I'm not going to filter out, but I'm going to change the type to Corrupt. So it's a Fire Corrupt Commander hero, and this is the card right here, Dragon Dancer. So Dragon Dancer has the same ability where at the beginning of every turn, it's going to increase self attack for that turn by up to 200%. And so I think though what you want to do is you might want to, I can't remember if you need to actually have a relic that will boost the intensity or not, but let's just say we don't, and let's try this out. So we've changed, the only card we changed is from Ring Royalty to Dragon Dancer. Let's see if we get the same same effect. I used the wrong team. As I say it, I actually have the wrong team in there. So let's go ahead and change this up again, and let's try that one more time. Okay, so let's take a look here. So there are other cards that do this, but I find that if you have a card that can passively increase your attack boost every turn, you're going to benefit a lot from it. And so here we see, so let's just go ahead and see if we get this the next turn also. So this is where I wanted to see, like, depends on whether or not we have, yeah, so you can see we do have this, right? And so it is every single turn we are getting this boost here. I'm probably going to die here because I don't have any help, but that's just an example because I was using one key there. So Dragon Dancer does help here. There are other cards that will increase attack boost, but the main message here is really the VIP is Intrepid Voyagers. And if you have, like I said, Fierce Family, use it. You're not going to regret it. People are getting literally 10s and 15 quadrillion damage per card with those setup. And you can also use boosters. So if you have Santa, you can use that to boost all noble killers, which is definitely going to boost this deck. And because Santa spawns power gems, and then you can basically just kind of have all of that effect. So having said all that, this deck really is a game changer. because of the possibilities it brought in this event. So I think a lot of people are running a lot of different types of teams, and I would say that it is really pushing sort of like the meta to a whole new level, I would say. So there's a good and bad here. I'm actually really glad that they fixed the bug where we don't see a full bore Power Gem 20s where you can just steamroll every single card, every single defense that you come across, every single like it'll just basically rule every single event. And so that would definitely ruin the game if they didn't fix that. So I'm glad that they did that. And it's just that this has opened up sort of that meta for us to explore. So I'm not sure what it's going to be like, but there is definitely a lot of options, at least for this event. Whether or not they're going to do this type of deck again after this particular deck has come out, I don't know. But if you have the deck and you're sort of trying to figure out what ideas you could go with, you could hopefully use some of the ideas. The last thing I will talk about before I sign off here is that you've seen by now what the treasure bosses are like. You defeat a boss, and you don't actually have to defeat it just to participate in it. Once it's defeated, then you will get these treasure chests that drop. And unfortunately, in order to open the chest, you have to actually spend gems on them. My personal feeling is that it is completely optional, so it really is out of sight, out of mind. Like, you don't actually have to pay attention to it. And, I do feel that for a random card, so like what you can get is like a random Dragoon, random ultra rare card, a random Master Collection card, a random relic, etc. All of these things. But I feel like given that they're random and you don't know what you could be getting, I still think that it's probably not worth the gems, because you'll be spending about 1,000 gems for an ultra rare card. And while this seems like it might be a good deal, you may not get the one that you want. Ultimately, it's really, you really just want to be spending the gems on the ones that you do care about. And so it's kind of like playing the lottery, and you're just basically randomly getting something, and you're guaranteed to have that type of card, but you're not going to be able to get the one that you may actually want. Although, some people might have gotten lucky there. So, but that's my personal feeling about it. I haven't really spent on it, and but I don't really care. Like, it's there. I don't really need to use it. I would have really preferred it if they use like gold, like other currency, for us to be able to get the treasure, or better yet, like not having to pay anything at all. But it is what it is. Just, I'm trying not to let that bother me. Like I said, out of sight, out of mind. It's not really that big of a deal for me, but I just wanted to talk about it also. So anyways, that's going to be it for me for this video. Hopefully I've explained how this works, the mechanics of it, why it happened, why the bug had to be fixed, and what's still happening right now. So thanks a lot for your time. Hopefully this video has been helpful. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye now.